Hello. Tonight we will once again drift into a peaceful and restful sleep together. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let yourself be carried away by the flow of this serene story. In a world where time stands still and memories come alive, everything is calm and soothing. If you're ready, let's begin. After the storm, Kirik village was tightly bound to the sea. But this sea was no ordinary one. On stormy nights, mysterious objects washed ashore, and bright stones emerged from under the seaweed, rekindling ancient legends in the minds of the villagers. The prologue sets the stage for the effects of these mysteries on the villagers in the beginning of the story. That starts with Dylan's return to the village. Dylan, weary from the chaos of the big city, decides to return to Kirik village. The village is filled with his childhood memories and the history of his family. However, Dylan's return was not solely driven by nostalgia. The secrets left by his father and unanswered questions drew him back. As he wandered the narrow streets of the village, where he once found peace as a child, he now discovers hidden meanings and signs in those same streets. The stories his father once told him echo in his mind. One sentence in particular lights his way. Dylan, your roots have always been here, but it takes courage to find them. Upon his return to the village, Dylan's first stop is his father's old house. The house had been abandoned for years. On dusty shelves, he finds old books, family photos, and notes written in an unknown language. These notes reflect his father's mystical connection to the sea and his attempts to uncover the village's secrets. Dylan decides to follow the trail of these notes. Dylan seeks out George, an elderly fisherman in the village, known for his terrifying, yet captivating tales about the sea. Dylan finds him in his old cabin by the harbor. The cabin smells of seaweed and is filled with seashells. When George sees Dylan, he smiles and says, "I knew you'd come." When Dylan asks about his father, George falls silent for a moment. Finally, he says, "Your father dedicated his life to unraveling the sea's secrets. But following those secrets requires a price to be paid." He then begins to explain the symbols and meanings from the old songs of the village. These symbols represent an ancient pact between the sea and its people. Dylan recognizes the same symbols in the notes he found in his father's house. This information pushes Dylan to delve deeper. As he walks through the village streets and near the cliffs by the harbor, he discovers ancient symbols and signs carved into the walls. Each one seems like a riddle, pointing toward the depths of the sea. Dylan begins to use these signs like a map, and with each step, he feels as if he is drawing closer to a central point. One night, after a heavy storm, Dylan walks along the beach and finds an old box covered in seaweed. Inside the box are objects that seem to have been hidden in the depths of the sea. The most striking item is a map, covered in strange symbols. The map points to a location deep beneath the sea. However, the text on the map is written in a language Dylan doesn't understand. Dylan shows the map to George, who suggests it may belong to an ancient sea people, and tells him of legends that speak of a temple built beneath the sea by these people. However, to decipher the map's meaning, Dylan must use the ring his father left him. This ring serves as a key to activate the symbols on the map. Dylan returns to his old house to search for the ring. He finds it in a dusty chest, along with a journal. The journal contains clues about the secrets of the sea, and how these secrets could affect the future of the village. Dylan realizes that the journal points to a place called the Shadow Cave. The Shadow Cave has been a place feared by the villagers for years. It only appears during certain times, and it's said that anyone who enters it never returns. However, Dylan is determined to follow his father's trail and explore the cave. With the map, the ring, and his father's notes, Dylan's journey reaches an irreversible point. Guided by the map and the ring, Dylan locates the Shadow Cave. The cave only appears on specific days, when the sea recedes. While the villagers refuse to even approach the cave, Dylan is willing to take any risk. to uncover the hidden truth. The walls at the entrance are carved with symbols that tell the rituals of the Sea People. Each symbol fills Dylan with both deep fear and curiosity. A dangerous journey. Dylan and a small group venture into the cave. The cave is filled with dark tunnels, walls covered in seaweed, and passages flooded with water. With every step, the group notices signs that something is moving within the cave. As Dylan recalls the notes his father left about this cave, he realizes that the power hidden within the cave will not only affect the village, but also the fate of his family. Deep within the cave, they discover the ruins of an ancient temple. In the center of the temple is a well, surrounded by stone columns. This well is believed to be the source of the sacred power of the Sea People. However, this power also carries a curse. As Dylan tries to decipher the symbols and writings around the well, he begins to recall some unsettling memories of the past. A light begins to emanate from the well in the temple center, and a guide appears in Dylan's mind. This guide shows Dylan his father's research and discoveries. Guided by this new information, Dylan learns that a gem lies hidden deep within the cave. This gem is the key to all the secrets. However, to control the power of the gem and save the future of the village, Dylan must make a great sacrifice. Dylan and his group reach the chamber where the gem is kept, but the room is filled with water, and to retrieve the gem a ritual must be performed. Dylan uses the ring his father left him to complete the ritual and unveil the gem. However, the gem is not just a source of power. It also carries a curse. This curse poses a grave threat to the village's future, and Dylan must face it head-on. When the gem is revealed, the energy within the cave shifts. The power sealed within the temple's walls is released, causing the structure to shake. Dylan realizes he must control the power of the gem. However, this power will also expose the dark secrets of the past, secrets that not only concern the village, but his own family's history. Dylan embarks on a challenging journey to unravel the impact of this power on the village and his family. Dylan realizes that he can change the fate of the village by using the gem. However, this will require a significant sacrifice. A conflict breaks out within the group. Some argue that the gem should be destroyed, while Dylan believes it can be used. This conflict leads to the group's disbandment. Dylan must now make a crucial decision to ensure the gem's power isn't misused. Dylan decides to venture deeper into the temple alone. He uncovers more clues on how to use the gem, but each step brings him closer to darker truths about his family's past. In the deepest part of the temple, he discovers an area where the Sea People made offerings to their gods. Dylan realizes that, in order to unlock the full potential of the gem, he needs to understand this sacred place and its secrets. As Dylan prepares to use the gem, he must face a being known as the Spirit of the Cave. This creature was created to guard the gem's power and tries to stop Dylan from using it. Dylan engages in both a physical and mental battle with this creature. In the end, Dylan must make a choice. He can either use the gem to save the village, or become its protector, bearing the weight of its power for the rest of his life. Dylan finally succeeds in extracting the gem from the depths of the temple. But as the cave begins to collapse, he realizes that to preserve the gem's power, he must make a great sacrifice. As he narrowly escapes the cave, he understands that this gem is just the beginning of something much larger. The village's future now depends on how he chooses to deal with the gem's influence. When Dylan returns to the village with the gem, he realizes that its presence is affecting not only the natural balance, but also the villagers' behavior. The gem brings forgotten memories and hidden fears to the surface. Dylan announces the gem's discovery in the village square, but it causes a split among the villagers. One group believes the gem should be kept sacred and protected, while the other fears it is a curse and should be destroyed. This division threatens the peace of the village. Dylan takes on the responsibility of controlling the gem's power. But the dreams and visions that follow take him toward an even darker truth. One night, as the energy of the gem intensifies, Dylan sees shadowy figures gathering by the shore. These figures are none other than the legendary Sea People. The Sea People have re-emerged with the return of the gem and demand that Dylan repay an old debt. The leader of the Sea People, known as the Lord of the Waters, explains that the gem contains the lost history and power of their people. Dylan understands their demands, but is torn by the potential consequences of returning the gem to them. He must now decide whether to give the gem back to the Sea People or prioritize the safety of the village. As Dylan's connection to the gem deepens, he begins experiencing vivid and unsettling dreams. In these dreams, he sees a hidden city beneath the sea, inhabited by people who guard the gem. These people explain that the gem is a symbol of balance, and its misuse could bring calamities to both land and sea. These dreams push Dylan to take the Sea People's warnings seriously. Meanwhile, some villagers, led by an old merchant named Keenan, begin making plans to exploit the gem's power for their own benefit, seeking to transform the village into a rich economic hub. A hidden alliance. Dylan realizes he is not alone in this conflict. Eliza, a young teacher in the village, has done extensive research into the gem's history and shares his belief that it is cursed. Together they examine old texts and symbols, uncovering the existence of a ritual that can restore balance to the gem's power. However, for the ritual to work, they must find an ancient symbol that marks the source of the gem's power. Hidden in a cave in a nearby forest, Dylan and Eliza embark on the journey to find the cave. But the path is fraught with danger. They face natural traps and an ancient creature that moves in response to the gem's energy. Dylan uses his father's ring to neutralize the creature, allowing them to reach the heart of the cave. There they find the ancient symbol, which is part of an old song from the Sea People's scriptures. This song is the key to the ritual. Dylan and Eliza decide to share their findings with the Sea People. Tensions rise between the Sea People and the villagers as they attempt to come together to perform the ritual. Dylan works to bridge the gap, and Hugo, the village leader, convinces the villagers of the ritual's importance. The Sea People, through their leaders, agree to participate in the ritual as well. On the night of the ritual, a great gathering takes place on the shore. Dylan uses the ancient symbol in his father's ring to begin the ritual. As the ritual progresses, a beam of light rises from the depths of the sea, stabilizing the gem's energy. But for the ritual to be completed, Dylan must make one final sacrifice. He must merge his own will with the gem's power. Dylan agrees to give a portion of his own life force to the gem in order to stabilize its energy. This sacrifice removes the curse and balances the energies, affecting both the sea and the village. Once the ritual is completed, a fragile peace is restored between the Sea People and the villagers. Dylan undergoes a profound transformation. No longer just an individual, but a protector of both the village and the sea. As the Sea People return to the depths of the sea, they promise Dylan, "We are always with you when you call a new beginning." In the aftermath of the ritual, the village begins a new chapter. Dylan becomes one of the village's leaders, working to preserve both the natural balance and the unity of the people. Using his father's notes and the teachings of the Sea People, Dylan begins developing projects to strengthen the bonds between land and sea. The story ends with Dylan's words, "The sea will always be filled with mysteries, but as long as we face them together, there is nothing to fear." Dylan now holds a position of leadership within the village. However, the ancient powers beneath the sea and his bond with the Sea People lead him on another journey as the villagers begin using the sea's energy more efficiently. They inadvertently revive old rituals and traditions. Dylan walks along the shore one day and encounters a sign from the Sea People, indicating another hidden temple beneath the sea. This temple, however, had been lost to time and had cost many lives in the past. The secrets within this temple could pose a great danger to the village. Dylan decides to find this temple and uncover its secrets. Dylan, Eliza, and a few trusted companions embark on a deep search to find the lost temple. The location is hidden within ancient poetry and symbols known only to the sea people. As Eliza deciphers these symbols, the village begins to change. Some people want to harness the power of the temple, while others reject the idea of living with its power peacefully. One night, Dylan and his team find a cave deep beneath the sea. The cave, made of ancient stone, had been abandoned by the sea for years. Inside, they discover remnants of the sea people's civilization, as well as writings related to the temple. But this temple, powerful enough to disrupt the balance of life beneath the sea, poses a greater risk. Dylan realizes that in order to control this power, he must find the key. Upon discovering the temple, Dylan and his companions uncover a dark and destructive power that has been lying dormant for centuries. The sea people desire to live in harmony with this power, but some of the villagers, led by Keenan, seek to exploit it for their own gain, hoping to change the world using its energy. The village becomes divided and power struggles ensue. As Dylan tries to decipher his father's notes and understand the temple's secrets, he realizes that this dark force could destroy the village and everything he's fought for. Meanwhile, a faction of the villagers disregards the sea people's warnings and attempts to seize control of the temple, putting everyone at risk. Dylan faces an impossible decision. As tensions rise, he must choose whether to use the gem's power to help the village or restore balance to the ancient ways of the sea people. By returning the power to them, this choice will determine the village's fate and could forever change the relationship between the sea people and the villagers. Dylan's decision is not only about saving the village, but about understanding the delicate balance between the forces of nature, the sea, and human ambition. Dylan chooses to control the temple's power, but it comes with a great personal sacrifice. During the ritual, both the villagers and the sea people must come together, and for the ritual to succeed, Dylan must give up part of his own life force. This selflessness ensures that the balance between the sea and the village is restored. Dylan realizes that his purpose has evolved. He is now the protector of both the village and the sea. The ritual's completion brings peace, and the villagers and sea people unite as never before. With the ritual complete, the village begins to heal. The villagers and sea people find mutual respect and understanding, building a future based on shared values. Dylan takes his place as a leader, using his knowledge of both the sea people's teachings and his father's wisdom to create projects that strengthen the bond between land and sea. The village is reborn with a new sense of unity, and Dylan reflects on the lessons of his journey. The sea will always be filled with mysteries, but as long as we face them together, there is nothing to fear. As the village enjoys a newfound peace, Dylan realizes that there are still deep divides and unresolved tensions between the land and the sea. These rifts threaten to undo the progress made, so Dylan works tirelessly to find a way to mend the growing divide. He arranges a large meeting between the village leaders and the sea people, hoping to settle these differences once and for all. But as the meeting approaches, signs of dark forces lurking in the shadows surface. Keenan, who wants to harness the gem's power for himself, leads a faction that undermines the peace. Dylan will need to confront these new threats if he hopes to maintain the balance. As the village works to heal from its past conflicts, ancient dark forces begin to emerge. Keenan, the village's old merchant, has rallied a group to gain control of the gem's power. They seek to take over the village's leadership and use the power of the gem to make the village wealthy. Dylan, now a leader of the village, must stop Keenan and his group before they bring destruction to everything he has worked for. As the conflict escalates, the village is divided once more, and Dylan is forced to make a difficult decision. Will he unite the people, Or will Keenan's faction tear everything apart? One night tensions boil over, and a conflict erupts in the village square. The power of the gem stirs forgotten memories and fears, causing panic and chaos among the villagers. Dylan realizes that the only way to prevent total destruction is to act quickly. Using the power of the gem, Dylan temporarily neutralizes the dark force that has taken hold of the villagers' minds. In the process, he discovers another hidden source of energy within the old temple that can stabilize the situation. Together with Eliza, Dylan decides to use this new power to restore balance between the villagers and the sea people. Dylan and Eliza turn to the ancient texts found within the temple to unravel its final secrets. These texts explain how to control the energy of the gem and prevent it from wreaking havoc. But in the final passage, there's a warning. If the gem's power is not carefully managed, it could bring ruin to the village. As Dylan deciphered the last clues, he realizes that the temple's true purpose is to protect both the village and the sea people. By keeping the gem's power in check, the cost of controlling this energy will require Dylan to make one final sacrifice. Having unlocked the temple's final secrets, Dylan decides to bring about a new agreement between the villagers and the sea people. The two groups work together to establish a new balance, revitalizing old traditions and rituals that will guide them into the future. This agreement is based on mutual respect and understanding, with both sides committing to live in harmony. Dylan, now the guardian of both the land and the sea, takes responsibility for ensuring that the forces of nature remain in balance, knowing that his journey has only just begun. With peace established between the village and the sea people, Dylan looks forward to a new era. However, the mysteries of the sea are never fully solved, and Dylan remains driven by his desire to uncover more secrets. The village is now in harmony with the sea, but Dylan knows that new mysteries will arise, and he will be the one to confront them. His journey is far from over. The future will always hold new mysteries to explore. As Dylan works tirelessly to maintain peace and unity, he feels an increasing connection to the sea. However, this connection also awakens old threats and fears in the village. One night, Dylan is summoned by the Lord of the Waters, one of the sea people's leaders. The sea people warn Dylan that old secrets are resurfacing, and that these secrets could pose a serious threat to the village. Dylan realizes that he must strengthen his bond with the sea and unlock a hidden truth within the old temple, one that could shape the village's destiny. Dylan, accompanied by the sea people, ventures into the ancient temple once again. This time the journey is more difficult. The temple's ancient spells and rituals contain knowledge that could either protect the village or bring it to ruin. In the heart of the temple, Dylan is surrounded by a magical force that reveals the fears and mistakes of his past. To escape the temple's grasp, Dylan must make a choice that will determine the future of the village and the sea people. Dylan uses ancient notes and rituals to resist the magical force that surrounds him. During this process, he uncovers a long-lost prophecy, one that reveals how his connection to the sea will determine the village's future. However, the prophecy ends with a dire warning. When the sea finds its roots, not only the village, but the entire world will reach a new balance. As Dylan continues to gather knowledge, the villagers become divided. Some fear that Dylan's growing power over the sea could lead to disaster, while others trust him completely. Dylan must navigate this division and decide how to balance the sea's power with the needs of the village. As Dylan strengthens his bonds with the sea, the village faces the awakening of ancient gods and forgotten creatures. These forces threaten to destabilize the fragile peace that has been established. Dylan must act quickly to prevent these dark powers from destroying everything. Meanwhile, a massive storm erupts, and the ancient connection between the sea and the land threatens to tear the village apart. Dylan must confront the ancient powers and find a way to stop the chaos from consuming the village. As Dylan faces the ancient forces awakening beneath the storm's fury, he realizes that the only way to restore balance is through unity. The villagers, still divided, must come together with the sea people to overcome the powerful storm and the chaos it has unleashed. Dylan, using all the knowledge and strength he has gained throughout his journey, begins to restore order. The villagers and the sea people, realizing the need for cooperation, start to work together as they battle the forces of nature. Dylan's leadership shines, and he begins to understand that the true power of the sea lies not in domination but in harmony and understanding. As the storm rages on, and the powers of the sea threaten the village, Dylan faces another critical decision. The villagers and the sea people must work together to either neutralize the forces threatening their land or restore the ancient balance of power to the sea. Dylan understands that the wrong choice could lead to the destruction of both worlds. With the future of the village and the sea people in his hands, he must decide whether to allow the power of the sea to return to its roots or to maintain control for the sake of the village's survival. His decision will define the future of the sea, the village, and his legacy. Finally, Dylan decides to uncover the truth hidden within the temple and confront the forces that have shaped the village's fate for centuries. With the storm's fury subsiding, he delves deeper into the mysteries of the ancient power and the forces that govern the sea. The chest of secrets that has been buried for so long opens before him, and Dylan must use everything he has learned to control the power within. The cost of doing so is great, but the village's survival depends on it. With one final ritual, Dylan prepares to seal the ancient power forever, or unleash it and risk everything. As the final ritual takes place, Dylan realizes that the true strength lies in balance. The ancient forces, the gem, and the power of the sea must all be harmonized to ensure peace. With the final act of sacrifice, Dylan combines his own energy with the power of the sea, stabilizing it and ensuring that both the village and the sea people can thrive in harmony. The storm passes and the village is saved, but Dylan is forever changed. No longer just a boy looking for answers, he has become the protector of both land and sea, understanding that true power lies in maintaining equilibrium. The world around him comes, but the sea remains a mystery, full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. The ritual's completion brings an era of peace, and Dylan reflects on the journey that brought him to this point. The village, once filled with fear and division, now stands united, thanks to the lessons learned from the sea people and the ancient rituals. Dylan understands the importance of respecting both the land and the sea, and knows that their future is now intertwined. He looks down at the ring his father left him, realizing it is more than just a family heirloom. It is the symbol of the bond between the village and the sea people. The ring represents the balance between two worlds that Dylan now understands must be carefully maintained. The villagers and sea people celebrate the peace that has been achieved, and Dylan feels a deep sense of fulfillment. The long, hard journey has finally led to a peaceful resolution, but he knows that the future holds more challenges. The sea, with all its mysteries, will always be there, quietly waiting for the next discovery. Dylan, now a respected leader in the village, stands before the people with a renewed sense of purpose. He has come to understand that life is not about seeking answers to every mystery, but about embracing the unknown with humility and wisdom. As he speaks to the gathered crowd, he tells them, "We've solved many mysteries, but the sea will always hold new secrets for us. The important thing is not to fear them, but to respect them and understand our place within the world. The balance we've achieved is fragile, and it is our duty to protect it together." The crowd listens intently, and Dylan feels the weight of his responsibility. But now he does not carry it alone. The sea people, who once felt like strangers, are now a part of the village, their futures intertwined. Dylan's role is not just that of a leader, but of a bridge between two worlds. Even as peace settles over the village, Dylan feels an inner restlessness. He has seen the power of the sea, felt its depth and touched its mysteries. But as the storm passed and the winds calmed, a part of him knows that this calm is only temporary. New forces, unseen but potent, are always on the horizon. The sea has a voice and Dylan is its listener. One evening, standing by the water's edge, Dylan reflects on the journey that brought him to this moment. The sun is setting, casting a golden glow over the horizon. A voice, familiar yet distant, calls out to him. The Lord of the Waters, a figure from the Sea People's lore, emerges from the depths. He speaks to Dylan. The peace you have achieved is but the first chapter. The sea calls to you, Dylan. Your journey does not end here. With these words, the future becomes clear. Dylan is no longer just a protector of the village. He is a guardian of the sea's mysteries. There will always be new challenges, new secrets to uncover, and new stories to tell. As the years pass, Dylan continues to bridge the gap between the village and the sea. He teaches the next generation the importance of balance and harmony with nature. But in the depths of his heart, he knows that his journey is far from over. The sea will always have secrets to offer, and Dylan will remain its most devoted student, ever eager to learn, ever ready to protect. And so the story of Dylan and the sea continues, as does the eternal dance between land and water, light and darkness. The mysteries of the sea are never fully solved, but Dylan's path remains clear: to embrace the unknown with courage, wisdom, and an unwavering commitment to balance. Thus the story of the sea, the village, and the boy who bridged them will live on forever.